I'm not an Agbor, but I think my parents just, I was just some kind of a special kid, you understand? But also they tried to shield us from the stress that they were going through to manage us.
Now, how would you describe your parents' relationship?
My mom was a very quiet. I never heard her quarrel in the catchy.
Oh.
My dad was education. You understand? My dad was an only child. So he felt that's why he was arguing he had a big family because he was an only child. He needed a big family, and that my dad. I remember in '96 when I went to law school, '95, the school fees was $1,000 at that time. My dad had to pay because he believed in education. They had a very wonderful relationship. I think my parents, they loved each other. Here's my father. My father drank alcohol. He smoked, then after a while he stopped smoking. He wasn't a church person. My mom was the one going to church. But in the later years, my father started going to church. So, yes, I never heard them really quarrel. You know, they might have had their differences, but they didn't bring it.
Not even once did you see them fight?
No, I never heard my parents quarrel entire growing up, you understand? They might have had their things, but probably they just, unlike the other neighbors where, okay, my father never raised his hand on my mother, never beat my mother in my entire life. And that's something that I've also learned. I've never raised my hand on a woman, and I would never do that till I die, because I think I learned a lot from my parents. They would have their shortcomings, but probably they made sure that they didn't bring it in our public space. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Would you agree that a father's presence is very, very important to the formation, the growth of a child?
Ideally, yes. Both parents, not just a father and mother, also both parents are, because at times you might have one who is laid back, one is out there. You might have one who doesn't talk, one who talks. So, and the kids know how to manipulate. If you just have just one and you know that the person is not a talking type, then you take advantage. Ideally, that's how it's supposed to happen. I grew up in that kind of house. It's no guarantee also for success, because we've seen kids who grow up in homes where proper parents raised them all well, did everything right. The kids end up being junkies. We've seen kids who grow up with a single mother, or a single father, but they end up, but ideally that's what is supposed to happen. But unfortunately, the way life is, we cannot get everyone, not everyone will get what they want. So I think if life gives you orange, make orange juice from it. If it gives you pineapple, make pineapple juice, and try to, don't give that as an excuse for you not succeeding or for you being an outlaw, you understand? Just try to copy what you think is right.
Okay. So what bad habit did you take from your dad?
I think my dad, my dad was a showman. He liked speaking in English. He liked, I think I got that for him. And I think that he was I think he had lots of female friends. I think that was something I got from him. I'm not saying that he loved women. I think he had lots of female friends. And I think...
like women, concubines? Is that
no, female friends. I don't know how...
Well, we heard that a man can never be friends with a woman.
That a man will never...
Can never be friends with a woman.
No. They are friends. So people have friends who... I think it's the stereotype in our society. People have friends who are women who... they are very supportive. To be honest, my experience is that if you have a friend of the other sex who can be more supportive than the friend of the same sex, because also you don't have that rivalry. You understand? Yes, you support each other. I've seen female friends who, if you are in a problem, they can rescue you more. My female colleagues, my female friends who were my lawyers, were very supportive whilst I was in jail. You understand? And these are just friends who we knew each other, and we have mutual respect. So yes, you can have them, and some of them are very supportive.
Okay. Now the last question in regards to your childhood: do you have any traumatic experience that shaped your life, and that today you are still very much unable to forget?
Nothing in particular. I think the thing that I always think about it is my mom's death.
Okay.
It's not traumatizing because I think mentally I'm strong, but at times I cry. At times I wish she had stayed longer. I wish she had died when I had worked. I'd made money. She used to tell me that I really want to see how you will become, you know. So at times when I meet some of our friends, I'll tell you where I wish your mother was alive to see. Because she was always complaining, Agbor don't do me this, Agbor don't do this, Agbor don't do this, Agbor don't do this, you know. So I think about it that I just like, I wish she was alive to see the kind of man that I've become, you understand. Would I have made her proud or that? In certain aspects, I would have made her proud.
What killed her?
She had hypertension. I think it runs in the family, but so that's what killed her.
Okay. And your dad, where is he now?
My dad died, interesting, in 2017, less than about 5 weeks before I was arrested. My dad died at home with me. And my dad that I know, he was very proud of me. I mean, my dad would not have regretted that I didn't attend his funeral because he was somebody who looked at the higher cause. And he would say, well, the fact that Balla is there for a higher cause, I don't mind that he wasn't there. So that's what gave me hope. I wasn't bothered because my father that I know would be happy. Yeah, so I didn't really bother.
So how did your siblings, how did they cope with first your absence and then while dealing with their loss, their brother is...
Well, it helped. You see, necessity is the mother of all invention. It helped them to rise to the plate because the family revolves around me. Everybody was like, but because my father died in my house, I was the one who took him. My sister from UK was around, and then my I called everybody, so we went and put him in the mortuary. And, you know, the day before I was arrested, I think I told some of my friends that I had to take a break and prepare my father's funeral because I never had time to process the fact that he had died, the strike actions and the rest. But yeah, I saw the videos, the people who came, I followed it in newspapers and press reviews. I was very impressed with, especially my kid sister working in the UN because she took control of everything and it was wonderful. Perhaps even if I was out, it might not have been that way, you understand? So, and I think also that was the stage where some of them got to their maturity also, because I was not there, you know, there was nothing I could do. I could only give instructions, but I was not physically present to like get there, okay, I know this person who can do this, but everything, and a lot of people were very supportive also, friends, relatives, family, sympathizers of the struggle. They felt that this was too much for me, and they were very supportive. So yes, I think it went well, you know, and the fact that my siblings knew that my father used to say that even if I die today, I'm happy and fulfilled, my kids are independent. That was something he was always telling us, you know, because also he knew where he was coming from and he could see the kids that have grown older, everybody was independent, and that was his joy. So the pain was there, but we understood that he was at peace with himself, the fact that the kids were doing fine.
Now, let me ask you this. What took you to prison and for how long were you there for?
What actually took me to prison? Well, I was accused of terrorism, incitement of civil war, group rebellion, spreading false information against the state, secession, attempt to change the form of the state, and cyber criminality. Yeah, so, but that was all in connection with the Anglophone crisis. I was the president of the Cameroon Anglophone Civil Society Consortium that called for the first ghost town and the school boycotts and the rest. And I think the only reason we were arrested because government felt we had become too powerful, you know, and you cannot have a parallel kind of pseudo government because technically for a month or two, we were technically running the Southwest and the Northwest region. On the 17th of January, the Cameroon Anglophone Civil Society consortium was banned. I think at was it the 5 p.m. news? I'd just gone home to rest. That they banned it in the 5 p.m. news, and around 7 something we were arrested. So I think before the ban it, they already had people in town monitoring us. And I know Cameroon a little bit. Immediately it was banned, they announced it over the radio, decree, blah, 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 Minister of Territorial Administration banning this. They banned the consortium, they banned the SCNC the same day. And 2 hours after, they arrested myself and the Secretary General, Dr. Fontaine. I'd gone to Fontaine's house to have a discussion with him on what is the way forward now that the consortium had been banned, and the people were just around the neighborhood waiting for us. So that's how we got arrested. Long story, kind of psychological and physical torture. But those things don't matter when you're fighting for a good cause. When you believe that you are not doing it for any personal gain, you believe that you're fighting for a higher cause, and that's something that we'll never regret, because the world had to understand, the state had to understand what we're going through as a people, and it had to take some people to make sacrifices for the betterment of others. So whatever would have happened would have happened. That's how life is. And 9 months after the president, through the Secretary of the Presidency, asked for that we should be released, and that's how we got released, and I came back to my life as a regular citizen.
How were those nine months?
Interesting, exciting, traumatic, but it made you understand the world also. It made you understand people. There are good people in this world, okay? Not that when tragedy befalls us, we think that there are good people in this world. There were people who were very supportive. Some people that I never knew were extremely supportive. It also shows that when you're doing what is right, the number of people who join your bandwagon, you cannot imagine, okay? And they have kept me going in spite of when I go through difficult times. I think about these people who don't know me, who did not know me, who made sacrifices to come to Yaoundé, go to the military tribunal, and have an authorization that expires after 1 month to come and see me. The kind of things they brought, the people who prayed for me. It was uplifting, and it equally made me to understand this country more than when you're in Yaoundé, even when you're in jail, because there are other people in jail. The discussions also that go around, but it just made me to be more emboldened. Just to be more determined that they can break you physically, that when you don't have a control, in the sense that they can arrest me now and put me in jail, but don't allow them to break you mentally, because this is the only thing you have. But this other one, they can jail you, but they cannot jail your mind. And I think I left prison with a stronger mental state. I used to know that I'm strong in my head, but prison made me, because I didn't cry, I didn't shed tears, I didn't regret anything, because that's what the dictator wants, or the leadership. They want to break you down psychologically. But if you don't allow them to break you down, you put them to shame, and you leave jail a stronger person.
Now, where does your courage come from?
I have a passion for what I do. I like what I do. You see, and these are things that people don't. People think it's about money. I'll tell you that as a young boy, when I would write a story that is published in the paper, it made me feel so good. When I saw the achievements of people, when I sit around Batebisong and he speaks, and we talk about him in his absence, those were the kind of things that kept me going. When I would follow football and write, and they'll post it in the board in Sase, it was like I won a lottery. Mm-hmm. So there are things that have always mattered to me. Creating an impact in your community, supporting others, being a role model, helping people. It is what keeps me going. Money is important, but it's not the most important thing in the world. And as I keep on saying, history has remembered those who have touched people's lives more than those who had money. the people who have money, that history has remembered, are those who use money to touch people's lives. So to me, it is self-fulfilling when I do what I do. You understand? And that's what keeps me going. That's why I don't phase out. That's why I don't get troubled. That's why it doesn't affect my health, you know? Somebody will see you like, you still have to say, yeah, because I believe in what I'm doing. I'm at peace with myself with what I'm doing, you know? And to me, that would only be, but I think also a superior being who sent us in this world, who brought us in this world, has a purpose for our lives. And he gives me the strength to continue doing what I'm doing.
Okay, who's your biggest inspiration?
There are many people. But I think that my father in particular would be my biggest role model. Because my father used to tell me about, he would call some lawyers in Nigeria, he would call some kind of lawyers in Cameroon, he would call some journalists, he would talk about choir, he would talk about some kind of people that you did not even know them. But you could see how he was happy talking about the successes of those people. You understand? So from at home, I had a role model who was my father, who made me understand that education is a be-all and the end. I used to see how my father used to introduce me to his friends, the joy in his face, you understand? How he would talk about me, you know? When I used to do interviews in the newspapers, on TV, on radio, I could see how fulfilling it was. So that was my biggest role model. But over time, I had people, you know, I had Batibiso, I had Wola Shoink, I had Gani, I had Martin Luther. I had lots of people that I admired from a distance, that I read about them. I had Carlson Anyangwe, I had Ephraim Guafo, I had Munzu Simon, I had John Gute, my lecturers in university. The way they spoke law, their mastery of the Queen's language, the articulation, the way they dress. So it was across, you know, so this Agbor Balla here is a combination of many people that I have learned about. I borrowed certain things from them to be who I am today.
Amazing. Now, we see a lot of people being afraid to talk against the government because, one, they don't want to die, two, they think of their family, thirdly, they think about their finance, their business, you know. Why don't you think of these things, you know?
You see, something will kill somebody. And in one of Fela's music, Fela talks about the fact that we don't want to die, we don't want to go to prison, I have a child, I have this, who end up dying. But equally also, I learned at a young stage that you need to be independent, you understand? I happen to have worked in an organization where I had a good salary, so I could build a house. I could do my own small investment, you know, and but I'm not scared of not having money. I'm not scared of dying. Because we all would die. Every day there are younger people who die that I'm already older than. And being alive is more of His grace already. So it's not that I already come to be alive. But speaking truth to power, with all honesty, something that you believed, not doing it because you want to make any gain. I think even the Lord also protects you. You know, and the government understands. They know people. They would have investigated people. They know some people who are doing it honestly, who are not trying to divide the country, but are doing for the betterment of the people. And some of the things we say is for the betterment even of the government also. Because if the government rights some of the wrongs, it's no longer looked as a pariah government, not so. It's more accepted in the International Committee of Nations, and it wins more friends, and other people want to come to the country. So, unfortunately, in some of these countries, when you tell the government that you need to provide light because basic necessities of life, it's your duty to provide it to a civilian, and then they think that you're enemy of the state. What have you said which is not something that they would like to do, you know? But I understand also that, and I still advise young advocates Not everybody has the same stamina. Not everybody has the same network. Not everybody is mentally strong. I was in jail with people who were crying, who were literally shaking and breaking. And not everybody has the same support system. I have a family that when I was in jail, they ran my house was being managed. You know, my siblings were paying all the bills. I didn't leave prison, and I came out and made any bills. You know, my daughter flew to the US when I was in jail. My siblings bought her a ticket. You know, so I think the strong knit family that we have, and the fact that I know I can rely on them in very difficult times. Also, I mean, there are several times that my siblings will bail me out if I don't have money. So I'm not worried about it's a list of my worry. And I also try to cut my coat according to my cloth. I live within my means, you know. So that's something I manage. If I have, you might not know. If I don't have, you might not know. So I think that also keeps me going, and I can face these authoritarian regimes head on.
Okay. Now let's talk about your profession as an advocate, a lawyer. How is it like? And for how long have you been practicing?
I was called to the bar on 28th of December 1996 in Lagos.
Okay. So
technically, I've been a lawyer about 27 years. Technically, yeah. 96 till date is how? 96, 2006, 2016, that's 20.
That's 20, yeah.
2023, so that's 27 years. Yeah, so this December I'll make it 27 years when I was called to the bar.
Amazing.
In Lagos, you know. And
how did you describe the journey? How's it been?
Well, it's been an interesting journey. It's been an interesting journey because I'm not a typical courtroom lawyer. More doing work of a solicitor, give legal advice because, you know, do consultancy work. But also being an activist and a human rights lawyer. So when I have cases that touch and concern human rights, I get myself. It's a very exciting but a very challenging profession also, you know, because competition is very rugged in it, you understand. Dealing with our justice sector is not very easy, you understand. So there's a lot of corruption in the judiciary, and some clients want a quick fix. You know, they would prefer that bribe as given for them to jail, but there are people like us who think that no, we're not going to circumvent the process, that justice should not only be done, but should be seen to be done. But it's very exciting because also people's faith and lives are in your hand to defend them. And if you defend them to the best of your abilities, they appreciate it. Beyond whatever they will pay you, they'll be eternally grateful to you. So that's also, you know, being the mouthpiece of those who cannot speak. It's something which is very fulfilling.
Okay. Now, as a barrister, what's the reason behind your success? What makes you stand out?
Well, I don't know whether I stand out. I think I do my things.
I know you're trying to be modest, like.
No, I think I just say truth to power. You understand? I am forthright. When I was the president of the Faculty Lawyers Association, we would tell justice magistrates that they take bribe. Where they take bribe, we will publish the document. We'll call them to order. We would have boycotts when we think that the judiciary is not respecting the common law principles. So it's being able to, and you make people see you, or people see you as that kind of fearless person who, if they have certain cases that against stronger people, they can come to you for advice and for support because they know that you will not be phased out. You understand? You cannot be bullied by the state or by powerful individuals. So those things also help people to recognize you also. But the media also is also something that makes... I'm not afraid to share my views on other things with the media.
And the last question, what is the way forward? What are your plans?
I have lots of things that I want to do. I want to change the world. I want to make my country a better place. But if I had the means, I would be this one big philanthropist. We would just be able to give scholarship to 3 million kids, to build orphanages, And I would be honest with you, if I am thinking of getting in business to make money, it's because I want to do more humanitarian efforts. Because, it puts a smile on your face when you go out there for humanitarian relief support. When somebody calls you that, oh, my wife just delivered, I'm in a hospital, I cannot pay, and when it's genuine. And when you send that money, an IDP woman got to me, and that it was a problem of 75,000. I think Fondio, then they put her in contact with, gave her my number, and she wrote to me, and she had 4 kids. One was in the hospital, there was problems. And if I show you the mail she sent to me after I sent my team to go and pay that money, I am telling you, it's more fulfilling than drinking 20 bottles of champagne at a nightclub. It's more fulfilling than flying business class to the subway. Because that's something that whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. When I was hungry, you gave me to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me to drink. So to me, that is my driving. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to be remembered, just to, and this is not giving it to family relatives, giving it to people you don't know, people you don't owe any duty, a legal duty, So that is it, and I think that's the next stage of my life that I want to get myself involved, to try to do things that could be very productive, that you could make money, and just to help, We did we provided free training for IDP women on tailoring and fashion designing. The day they were graduating here and they were giving their testimony, you looked at how much you put and how impactful it was. You're like, wow. I thought I never had shoes until I saw somebody without legs. And it also helps you to count your blessings, to thank God. And I always like to talk like my Sierra Leonean brothers would say in Creole, we tell God thank you. You understand? That's to thank God, to tell God thank you. It makes you to see how far you've come and to be humble enough to understand that in as much as you're still striving to make more, there are people who are worse than who you are, and you appreciate life, because the tendency is that a lot of us end up not appreciating life, not thanking God for what He has done for us. So to me, that's it. That's what I want to do, and that's what I'm praying God to put me in a position where I could make it more, so that I could be supportive of those who are in better place financially than them.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
We've come to the end of the interview. Any last words? Which camera?
Thank you. I want to thank you, and I want to thank you for the wonderful job you're doing. I follow your interviews. I'm honored to be on the hot seat today. I'm honored to be on the Hall of Fame. I want to thank Dash Media, Mr. Boni Deshako, for the wonderful, amazing job he's doing in terms of also in the media land space, but equally also to thank the young men and women who work in this Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa. They are doing an amazing job. I might just be the face, but they are doing an amazing job. But also to equally encourage our young men and women, my junior brothers and sisters all over the country, to be more ambitious, not to follow the get rich quick philosophy, for them to get involved in active partisan politics and let the fear of God be instilled in them, you understand? And with that, I think that the sky would be their springboard and not their limit.